Welcome to GNN. I'm your anchor, Red Nebula. I'd like to open this broadcast by apologizing for last broadcast. Scientists fixed the issue by wiping the Halloween dimension from existence. Sorry, kids. In other news, comet ZB892 has struck planet Big Round Circle. Only one survivor has been found. The planet's chancellor, Grotmar. Rockstar Glofbar has taken Grotmar under his own protective custody for questioning. How gracious of our glorious overlord. Let's turn to sports news with Ace McKinley. Take it away, Ace.
Tuning in for sports is me, Ace McKinley, not Wolfman. In recent news, bad news on the grid. A terrible accident occurred when two light cycle players became self-aware and used their bikes to jump into the stands and destroy the entire crowd for cheering on their suffering. An estimated 678,000 programs have been de-rezzed. On the bright side, a cure has been established for the blacklights pumpkin patchitis. Using sugar and spice and everything not nice, the blacklights were cured of their terrible disease. The championship game is expected for next yesterweek. But wait, this just in. The cure for pumpkin patchitis is now reported to have slight side effects, including nausea, stomach aches, headaches, and purging of bodily fluids. I hope some bioluminescent worms didn't get into that cure.
Thanks, Ace. Exciting things always happening in the world of sports. Let's take a look at what our next yesterweek of weather is looking like. Take it off, Dave.
This tomorrow day, we can expect astrofrost in low-lying areas of the Quip district. Boiling seas are anticipated in the northern quadrant of Flagleaf. Massive sleet hurricanes in the new Far East have been launched by hostile unhumans from Solar Sector XYZ, who hope to topple the Roxnarian regime with their feeble attempts at weather war. Thankfully, those of us who are deemed worthy will remain protected by Overlord Roxnar Glafbar. Praise be to Roxnar Glafbar. Viewer Bertha Wormhole has reached a milestone birthday this yesterweek with her 300th trip around our dual suns. Man, her arms must be tired. USSE citizens brave enough to venture outside are being advised to bring their umbrella shields. Space junk has been raining down on drylanders ever since gravity was readjusted for daylight's wasting time. Those who forgot to set their clocks back to the future were subtly reminded when the Earth's rotation was temporarily slammed into reverse. Back to you, Red.
Thanks, Steve. Great work as always. To conclude this broadcast, I'd like to make a statement about the recent riots across the galaxy because of Overlord Roxnar Glofbar's total rule. I urge everyone to stop and think about the repercussions of these riots. The Glofbarian capital has done nothing but good for the citizens under its protection. This concludes your broadcast of GNN. Have a wonderful forever. I'd like to open this broadcast. I think about the
Hey everybody, I'm Chef Todd, and welcome to Under the Apple Tree, where I build, grow, and of course cook my way towards a handmade life. Tagine is a Moroccan dish full of flavor and possibilities. Curry, turmeric, ginger, and garlic make an excellent aromatic base. Today we're using sweet potatoes, chickpeas, and kale for the body, but lamb, beef, squash, virtually anything could be used. So sit back and enjoy a culinary adventure to North Africa. So here we are back in the kitchen. We're going to play with Moroccan tagine. It's really become one of my staples at the school and at home. Really fun stew. It's kind of replaced chili in our house. One of the biggest keys to it, though, is we have all these beautiful spices we're going to use, but we want to make sure we toast them up nice. So as we get over to the stove, I'll show you how to do that, and we'll make sure we grind up the whole seeds, because few people like a full crunch of a whole coriander seed. First we need to prep our veggies, though. So we're going to clean up our garlic, dice our onions, peel and dice our sweet potatoes, and then clean up our kale a little bit. So cracking it like that just opens up the skin a little bit, and then it comes apart like nothing. Cut off that end there. And just some thin slices one way and then the other. Take care of an onion here. Obviously we want the skin off of that. Here's some beautiful sweet potatoes here. And we're going to peel these up. I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day and talking kitchen war stories, and our great director Ross is actually the best potato peeler I've ever seen. We used to work at a place where we'd do $20,000 to $30,000 in a weekend, and he'd have to peel a whole heap of potatoes. And a note on tools: there's a bazillion peelers available these days. This is the only one that I will use. Is Grandma's old one from how long ago? Because none of them work as good as these simple steel or simple stainless steel ones. And then you can dice this up any way you choose. Easiest is just cut the whole thing in half and then a couple strips out of it. So you're there, and then we have this flat leaf kale that we're using. Super easy to clean up. If you go against the way the stalk goes, peel it a little bit that way, it's going to come off really simple, and you just got to pull a little bit of the top off. As long as your stalk's only about that thin, if you're fine to eat it. Once it starts getting thick, you want to make sure you discard that. And then we just need to cut our parsley up a little bit, and we'll head over to the stove. Get the leaves off as much as possible, discard the stems, save those for compost or for some stock. I'm using a large pan, just so I have enough room to get everything in there. You want to make sure you're able to cover it too. You want to try to preserve the juices in this recipe. So we have our coriander, our red pepper, our cumin, our curry, a little bit of ginger, cinnamon, and some black pepper. And that's all going to go in there. This pan's been preheated a little bit, so everything's hot already. And we're going to cook this for about 3 to 5 minutes till it starts smelling nice and pungent. You get those aromatics going. And all it's going to do is kind of soften the flavor and really help our final product a little bit. You can smell our coriander starting to pop already. That happened very fast, so we're going to get our oil in there and keep rolling ahead here. So our oil's in there. Like I said, we cut everything, leave it on this cutting board. Makes it easy to transfer stuff over. So we're going to put our onions in there first. The white color of the pan, just to explain, something that looks a little different, is that new ceramic style non-stick coating. Really, really nice to use. Healthier than the old Teflon coating is. And in my experience, absolutely nothing sticks to these ceramic pans. Oh, we've softened our onions there. We're going to put our garlic in. And then once that garlic softens up a little bit, we're going to put our tomato paste in and kind of let that brown almost blacken up. We're going to caramelizing it to bring out the sugars. This is one of those dishes you have to make it for no other reason, just to experience the smell that we're in right now. So you can see now we have some nice color in there. The if you could smell this, you could tell even by smell that we're really starting to get where we need to be. So I'm going to pour just a little bit of, I'm using vegetable stock. You could use water or chicken stock, whatever you really choose. I'm going to put a little bit in here just to kind of deglaze and take those, and we talked about this before, our bits of fond, which are kind of that cornerstone for us. Scrape all that stuff off the bottom. Again, this non-stick pan makes that a super easy process. So that's a good base for us right now. What we need to add in there yet is our body. We have our chickpeas, our sweet potatoes, and the kale. The kale we'll put in right towards the end. Let's get our sweet potatoes in there because those will take some time. And that's good. What I'm going to do now is sweet potatoes are in there. They're getting warm. We're going to add the chickpeas, add the rest of the stock, and let this thing simmer for a little bit. So everything's in there now. We're going to cover this up. Check it maybe every 5 minutes or so, and let it cook for about 20 minutes until those potatoes soften up and are tender to are fork tender. So we've been going for about 12 minutes now. Stirred this a couple of times. Let's see where we're at. Add our greens and our orange. Oh, it just smells divine. All those spices. So we're going to zest and juice an orange. So then we just cut that orange in half. Squeeze that juice in here. Lemon juice would work too, or lime juice if you prefer. With fall, I really hang towards oranges a lot. Got the rest of our kale here. Tear it up a little bit more, just make sure it's in bite-sized pieces for us. And then our last thing is the parsley here. Again, especially if I was using lemon or lime, I would probably put a little bit of cilantro in here too. A touch of mint is usually not bad, especially if you have meat in it. It kind of balances that muttoniness of the lamb if you're doing a lamb tagine. So let's stir that stuff in there. Cover this up again, another 5 minutes maybe, and we should be good to go. Beautiful. It's a nice color in there. The orange is really starting to meld with those warm spices. It really smells great right now. Let's dish one up and see what we got. Oh, I can't tell you enough how good this smells. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that is fantastic. I think I'm going to sit down and have a bowl with the crew here. But thank you so much for hanging out. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Apple Tree Show. Subscribe and comment below. And we'll see you next time under the apple tree.
Right now. Right now. Woo, okay. Hey, Brandon Palmer here with episode number 5 of Pigskin Pundits. Jacob number 1 is going to be giving you the news as usual, and Jacob number 2 is going to be telling us all about play action. All that's coming up, so don't go away. Hey, this is Jake Dodson with the NFL News. It is week 7, and there is 5 undefeated teams this week. The Panthers, Patriots, Packers, Broncos, and Bengals. That is the most since the AFL-NFL merger. Big storyline coming out of the NFC North this week. Lions have fired their offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi, and offensive line coaches. The team announced Monday that quarterbacks coach Jim Bob Cooter will take over offensive coordinating duties. What looks like a rejuvenated Dolphins team, the Dolphins offense hung 41 points on the Texans in the first half. That's not the only bad news coming from the Texans this week. Texans star running back Arian Foster tore his Achilles tendon and is out for the season and maybe career ending. They also have released second-string quarterback Ryan Mallett due to team infractions. And that is all for the NFL news this week.
Come on, Aaron, come on, get in there. Get a touchdown. Wait a minute. Jacob, as long as you're here, tell me, what is this? Come here, what is this? On the replay. What is that?
It's play action. What are you doing in here?
Never mind what I'm doing here. I'm hiding from Brandon. What's play action?
All right, come on, I'll show
You
you.
gotta show me. Come on.
Play action is a pretty easy concept, but there's a lot of little details that go into good execution. Okay, if you run a lot, the defense is going to think it's a run more often, right? Mm-hmm. Well, play action is basically the quarterback dropping back and pretending to hand the ball off to the running back, but then actually pulling it back in and dropping back for a pass.
Oh, okay.
And hopefully the defense is fooled by this fake long enough for a receiver to get open.
Mm-hmm. That's it? It's just a fake handoff?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's a little more details that go into it at the NFL level, but that's the general idea, yeah.
What are some of these other complexities?
Well, everyone is so good at the NFL level that things have to go perfectly for you to be successful. For play action, all it takes is a defender being a step too late, just an extra half a second of staring at the running back to see if they're actually getting the ball will put a defender out of position.
So what do they say when they mean that the quarterback has to get better at doing this?
Well, some quarterbacks are better at pretending to hand it off than others are. Some will actually have the ball completely sticking out and then pull it back at the very last second, and it's a little bit more likely to fool a defense, but you also run a little bit more of a risk of it being a fumble.
What about the running back? What does he do?
It depends on the specific play call. Some plays will have him run a route as a receiver after the fake, so he'll run out like this or something. But for the most part, what they'll do is they'll just, after the fake, they will just stay in the pocket here and act as pass protection for the quarterback. One of the big disadvantages of play action is that it takes a lot longer to set up than a normal play. Mm-hmm. They have to do the whole fake, and the quarterback has to step back yet and everything. So you generally want some extra blocking before defensive linemen or whatever get to the quarterback.
So the basic idea is to make the defense think that you're handing the ball off, but you're actually passing it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
No, that's pretty simple. I don't know why I was ever worried. Thanks, Jacob.
That's it for this week's episode of Pigskin Pundits. Next week we'll have more NFL news for you, along with the read option. Let's play action out of here.
You, next.
Yes, come in. Hello. Yes. What can I help you with?
So I am in quite a few programs here at NWTC.
A number of programs. Yeah.
And I kind of tapped out on credits, so I have to appeal to continue my education here. I'm 20 credits away from graduating, and I thought I'd show you my academic plan.
Very good. Let me take a look. Yes. Very good. Student name. This going forward. This is what you want to do, correct?
Yes. I'm hoping to graduate May 2017. 7 programs altogether.
You're going to be graduating with 7 degrees, yeah?
Well, 5 certificates, a degree, and a diploma.
Very how do you say, ambitious?
Yes.
Yeah.
I also included, because financial aid said I would need a note saying, hey, this is what I want to do.
Did you have this signed by your doctor?
No, I'm actually going to be the one signing it.
Oh, it's very good.
Yeah, just explaining the scenario.
Appeal, yes. And if I understand correctly, you are looking for money.
Yes.
Well, I have to tell you, your personal advisor may look at this differently, but I am going to have to say 9. I cannot approve this request.
9? That's...
9!
Hey, chop chop.
Hi.
Oh, hello, top of the morning. What can I do for you?
I need help registering for next classes.
Oh, for the semester, you're looking to sign up for your classes. Well, what degree program are you in?
I'm in the digital media program.
Very good, very good. So you're probably very familiar with computers and the like. And Northeast Wisconsin Technical College does have a very easy to follow computer program that you can use to sign up for your classes. You go in there, you check the ones you want. It'll tell you if they're ready, if you have to be on a wait list, things like that. But we're not going to do that at all. What we're going to do is I'm going to have you fill out a lengthy paperwork form that my assistant will get for you. And then you're going to have to mail it into the college. And you're going to have to wait 7 to 8 weeks for us to...
What is this for?
It's for signing up for your classes. It's a form, and you check the boxes of the classes you want to do. It's just like the website, but it's not nearly as websitey. It's more of a, a proper form. We like forms. It's stamp it, and it's okay. So, so I'm going to have you go ahead with my assistant. I've actually got...
Wait, is that all I have to do?
Oh, that's all you have to do. And I don't really have time to explain about what we're doing, but you just go ahead and get the paperwork from the advisor or from the secretary, right? You check the boxes, you mail it in, you wait 3 or 4 months. Yeah, it'll definitely be done by the time classes start. You'll be all set to go.
Okay.
Yeah, don't use a website. That's too simple. This way you got it in writing, you make a photocopy, you get one for your records. You don't have to worry about the website at all. You'll be fine.
Okay, I'll do that right now.
Sounds good, yeah. Have a nice day, yes.
The name's Clifkin. Kevin Clifkin. And welcome to another NTE Minute.
Well, he always did have an inflated opinion of himself.
And if you couldn't tell by the intro, it's James Bond week here at NTE Studios. Spectre has opened up and released this past Friday, and so far from November 6th until today, well, when this is being recorded, this is the 10th, over the course of those 4 days, in the United States, Spectre has grossed $73 million. $73 million.
You noticed.
This falls second all time for a Bond movie in its opening weekend. So you may be wondering to yourself, what's number one? Well, obviously, if you haven't seen it, you need to see it by now. 2012's Skyfall.
It's gone.
You both know what's at stake here.
There isn't much road left.
Take the bloody shot.
Skyfall came in with $88 million in the opening weekend at the box office. That's a lot of money. So my question is, where does Craig rank in the all-time best for Bond actors? We're going to talk about that today, and I'm going to tell you why Daniel Craig should be considered all the way at the very top, Sean Connery. So since Daniel Craig stepped in as James Bond in 2006 for that first movie, Casino Royale, all of his movies worldwide, all time, have grossed $2.5 billion at the box office. That's B. 2.5 billion. That's a lot of money. In fact, that amount is almost half of what all 24 Bond movies have grossed in its history. We're going to take a look at all of the actors, and I'm going to tell you why Daniel Craig should be considered the best Bond of all time. Not the most favorite, not the most popular, the best. In number 8, we have Barry Nelson, who starred in the 1954 Casino Royale live action picture that was shown on CBS. Number 7, we have David Niven from 1967's original Casino Royale. Yes, the 2006 one with Daniel Craig, that was a remake of the 1967 version. In number 6, George Lazenby. He starred in the 1969 On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Number 5, Roger Moore from 1973 to 1985 with the movies Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun, The Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker, A View to Kill, For Your Eyes Only, and Octopussy. Number 4, Timothy Dalton from 1987 to 1994. Dalton starred in The Living Daylights and A License to Kill. Number 3, He's the James Bond I grew up with, and while he may not be the best, he's the one that's closest to my heart.
New BMW. Will you need collision coverage?
Yes.
Property destruction?
Definitely.
Personal injury? Accidents do happen. Grow up, 007.
And that's Pierce Brosnan. From 1994 to 2002, Brosnan played the iconic British spy James Bond in GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, and Die Another Day. So, number 1 and number 2. Well, who take the charts? Do we go number 2, Sean Connery, number 1, Daniel Craig? Or number 2, Daniel Craig, number 1, Sean Connery? Well, let me break this down for you. I told you who's the best Bond. Not your most favorite, but who's the best. And when I define best, I go back to the actual Bond books that Ian Fleming wrote that majority of these movies are based off of. Now, in those books, the Bond character that Fleming wrote was self-destructive, borderline suicidal, and an alcoholic, with just a natural knack for killing. Now, for me, when I watch a Daniel Craig movie, that summarizes the Daniel Craig James Bond that he plays. The Sean Connery was more slick, smooth, way more of a womanizer than the Daniel Craig character ever was. So to me, the more authentic character, the more authentic Bond of the two has to be Daniel Craig.
I have a question.
What's that?
Why, given every other possible option, does a man choose the life of a paid assassin?
Well, it was that or the priesthood.
I personally like Sean Connery as my favorite Bond, but in terms of the best, the most authentic, as per the text that Fleming wrote that these movies are based off of, it's got to be Daniel Craig. It's got to be Daniel Craig as the best Bond to date. Are we going to see him as another James Bond? Well, signs will probably point to yes, as he's contracted to do a 5th Bond movie, aka Bond 25, as it's going to be the 25th movie in the historic franchise's history. If Bond 25 is anywhere near as good as Skyfall and Spectre, Daniel Craig will go down as not only the best Bond, but my most favorite Bond of all time. So who's your favorite Bond? Let us know in the comments below, tweet me, and most importantly, subscribe by clicking down below to the show. And for anything TC Weekly related, head over to tcweekly.org. This has been an MTE Minute. Thanks for watching.